Hello guys, welcome back to Roman's Rust Bucket. In this video, I traveled all the way from Indy to Dallas to pick up this 67 parts car since it was in really good shape and it had a lot of good metal on it. The reproduction panels that they produce nowadays aren't very good, especially for 67, so I thought it'd be better if I just have a solid parts car where I can cut the parts directly off of here and weld them into my 67. And in today's video, I'll be unbolting the running boards and the chassis from the body and all those kinds of things so that I can take the body off and then have a better look at all the parts that I will be utilizing and how to best remove them from this car. But first, I'll cue the time lapses and the pictures that I took from the trip from here in Indy to Dallas. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed those pictures and the time lapse. I'm sure for you guys it was a short trip, but I can assure you for me it wasn't such a short trip, being 14 hours one way. But it was fun. Got to see Texas for the first time. This hood actually didn't come with the car. It came from Bug Acres, which is a 7-acre junkyard for VW air-cooled and water-cooled VWs and just parts in general. Thanks to VW Life, I knew that this junkyard existed, so I thought might as well add 2 hours to our trip to go check it out. And I actually found a nice 67 hood, so now I have an extra in case I need it. But we'll go ahead and start the walk around now. It's a little rusty up here, but that's nothing that I can't fix. When I got the first pictures of the car, I noticed that we have the larger bumper brackets, which indicated that the front clip was replaced at some point because that's for later years. And lo and behold, here we see the replacement. You can see the thick weld up there. And then down here we have a nice circle right there and just some more fiberglass there. And then we basically have the same thing happen over here. But what do you expect? These were cheap cars back in the day, so there was no reason to really put much effort into them. Here we can see that the fender nuts were replaced, basically all of them. But those come out easily, especially if they're a little rusted and you're taking the fenders off. Here we have some nice Bondo, nice and thick. It's starting to rust up here, surprise, surprise. This running board is aftermarket, but it's actually in surprisingly good shape. The dash is uncut, which is nice. Let's see here. The rear luggage area, which is pretty rusted out on my car, is very solid in this car, as you can see. So I'll be using most of that and just putting it into my car. And then another reason why I wanted this car is because of this shock tower area. It's in really good shape, except for this small tear down here where it's starting to rust a little bit. But I'll take all this apart and then sandblast it and put it back together, paint it, do all that stuff. But this was really enticing because it's in such good shape. And for 67, these rear shock tower areas were 1 year only, since they moved this location and it had the Z-bar. So, and they don't produce replacement panels for this, so you have to modify the ones that they do have. So I thought it's better, and they're so thin, so I thought it's better for me just to have an original car that I can cut the metal off of and put it onto my car. This car came with a 67 deck lid, which was nice because it's always good to have one of those since it's also 1 year only. So go ahead and open this. All right, so here we can see some of the damage from the accident, which I'll show you guys. That's also a little bent, but it's not too bad. Back here. But I don't really need most of this, so I guess it's just extra. Came with a transaxle, so that can't hurt. All right, and here we get to the money shot, also known as the accident. I'll just put some Bondo right there, and then it'll look really nice. Just kidding. But this shock tower area was also in really good shape, which is nice. Here we can see some more of the beautiful welds. But hey, the luggage tray is in perfect shape. It's a little tweaked down here, but I can fix that. I have replacement panels for this, so I don't know what I'll do with this yet, but I'll figure that out. But at least I have a pretty solid car. This door doesn't shut, so I just had to tie it with this. I can open it real quick. So here we can see the dash. It's actually fairly solid. This floor pan, they replaced these. I'll show you guys. It's not very pretty down there. And then here, it's starting to rust again. And then up here, it's not too nice, but I don't need any of this. In my first video of the channel where I showed you guys my bug, I already replaced most of this, so I don't need it, luckily. But that door is still really solid. And it came with all the original VW glass, so it's good to have another set of that, because the one that I got with my 67 was a little scratched. This vent wing window is in pretty good shape. There's just a screw here. Don't ask me why. In here, we have thick paint, Bondo, whatever you can imagine. So I guess that ends the walk around. Now I'll get on the creeper and show you guys below, which really shows the nice body repair jobs that were done on this. All right, we'll go ahead and start looking at these floor pans. Here they bolted part of the floor pan in, and it started to rust again. It's not very nice. As you can see up here, it just continues all the way back. I'll go to the other side and show you guys that now. Here they did some more of that shade tree body shop guy stuff by just bolting that part in. Surprisingly enough, they welded this part, but it doesn't get too pretty once we get a little further back here. So here, there's just a bracket bolted on up here. And then back here, you can see those welds up there. Just nothing really nice, but hey, whatever works, works. But I would never do such a thing. So I guess that kind of shows you what kind of work was done on this car. But thankfully, I'm not restoring it. I'm simply taking off the good parts that weren't messed with and putting them onto my car. But yeah, that was kind of a walk around of this car. And now I'll go ahead and get started by unbolting the chassis from the body. And I think that's all I'll do for today, since it's getting a little late. And I need to catch up on sleep because I didn't get much the past couple of days. So I'll set up a time lapse and then I'll bring you guys in to conclude the video. Alright, well, I got all of the chassis to body bolts out. Some were missing, but that's only good for me. Surprisingly, only 2 bolts snapped, and those were the 2 front right ones in the Napoleon's hat. But then in the next video, I'll actually be removing the body from the chassis, removing all the necessary components that I need to remove. But for now, it's getting a little late, so I'll let it down on the ground again, roll it out, and then let my mom park her car in here again since I kind of took her spot. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.